Hello again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews in your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. What's up, Broncos country? Welcome to another episode of Bourbon, Broncos, No BS. It is time. I'm going to just pass it over to Jared, who is going to do his thing.
Wow.
Oh, we have a. I thought we were going to do intros first, but look, we have a huge announcement for everybody. We have a huge announcement for everybody. We have officially signed as an affiliate on the Pigskin Podcast Network, which is starting today. We are officially part of the Pigskin Podcast Network. What does that mean for all of you watching and all of you listening? Absolutely nothing. We're still going to bring you Bourbon, Broncos, No BS. We're still going to bring you all of our podcasts, and nothing's going to change. I think we're just going to be able to bring you a little bit more networking from other teams. We're going to be able to bring you some things that we haven't been able to before. Bring you some other podcast hosts on other shows from other teams, and maybe a little bit of insight from them. But other than that, we're here to stay. We're here for the long run, and we're really excited about this partnership. And as I say that, we're going to go ahead and intro their first the Pigskin Podcast Network. All right, fantastic. So there we are. Thank you, Glenn. We appreciate it.
Glenn, thanks for coming. Colin, appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. Also, yeah, it's going to be a really exciting partnership. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're really excited. Like Jared said, the fan experience for you guys not going to change at all. We are committed to bringing you the same mediocre to good. I mean, fantastic. Really quality, top quality Broncos content every single week. But this time we're going to have somebody behind us saying, no, it really is good. You should watch them. And it's really fantastic. Pigskin Podcast Network has been really supportive, and it's going to be a great partnership.
I will say, I think our marketing is taking a little bit of dip from that intro compared to ours, but that, you get what you
Yeah, I mean, our intro still has a lot of Drew Lock in there, though. So maybe after a couple of games,
that's true.
Someone had to say it. Someone had to say it.
You had to throw that out there, didn't you?
Bridgewater has a couple more games like this. We're not going to need much more to get some good highlight material.
This is true. I'll be able to rebuild the video very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah. Absolutely.
And at least Locke is still on the roster. It's not like we're showing like Deshaun Hamilton or anything like that.
I could get some footage of Deshaun Hamilton.
Please do. I would absolutely love that. Oh, Patrick, man. So what about that game, though? We just talked about this. What about that game? Teddy Bridgewater with the highest rated PFF quarterback of week one. So two things that popped up on my timeline in the last couple of days. The first one, Teddy Bridgewater highest ranked in PFF. which is amazing. And I cannot remember the last time a Denver Bronco was there.
Yeah.
The second thing we're number one is top speed for Melvin Gordon. He had the fastest speed in all of week one on his, I think it was a 70-yard touchdown run. He had the top speed and all that. We have not been at the top. It really in week one in a couple of categories in a long time. So man, it was crazy. It was really cool to watch.
Yeah, so many reasons. It was such a, total confounding of everything we've known for the Broncos in September. Over the past 2 seasons, it has just been misery and futility and close losses at the last moment and baloney penalties and this, that, and the other. You can blame whatever you want, but man, it feels good to sock one away in the month of September, boys. And a performance that I have to say was led by the offense. I mean, the defense showed up, but also I think showed that, the potential historic defense we thought was going to be there. It's, still the potential is there, but it's not there right now. They've still got some things to iron out, some players who are still trying to figure out their roles, I think, in the defense a little bit. Young guys coming back from injury. And we'll talk about how great Von Miller was. But yeah, it was really a performance. Shut up, Kevin. It was really a performance led by the offense this time. And the defense, all they had to do was be themselves. And, they didn't have to go out there and take 3 turnovers. They didn't have to have 7 sacks for the Broncos to be close in this game. It was really, really encouraging to see. And, we've got a good chance to build on these performances coming up too.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And Robert, thanks for the shout out. We always love that, starting the show off with you.
Love to see you here, Rob. Thanks for coming.
But I don't know. I think you may be being a little too harsh on the defense there, David. I think they did finally get their footing under them. They only gave up 13 points for the game, and the second touchdown was BS anyway. Like
entire second drive, they were playing bend don't break. I mean, they kind of did not. There's nothing they could have done to win that game. So
yeah, but I hear you. The first half was a little bit surprisingly rough from the defensive standpoint, where we thought we were just going to dominate from the get go. I think they finally figured it out. Second half, pretty much dominated. But this is what it should have looked like, honestly, for the last 2 years, with just a competent offense. Not turning the ball over, not being themselves, like David said. So loved it. I think hopefully this is just a sign of things to come.
Things I want to mention here, Curtis. Yeah, he went to the game. It was actually cool at the very beginning of the game. They showed the crowd. I don't know if there was more than orange and blue, but there was definitely a lot of orange out there, and it was really cool. Not only that, but it stood out because they were orange, they were blue and white. So if there was orange out there, you could tell. It was super cool to see. I will say this: the only thing on the offense, and which was really cool, was that we were driving the ball, and regardless of the points that put up, we left 14 points on the board. Right, Jerry Jeudy's fumble and Okwebanam's fumble, both those fumbles were close to in the red zone. We left 14 points on the board and still won pretty handedly as it was. So
help me remember: did we end up scoring on the KJ Hamler drop drive?
I think we did, yeah.
I think we did too. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. No, Jerry,
that's the drive that Jerry Jeudy got hurt on a couple plays later, unfortunately.
Right.
So.
And Alex makes a good point here. Jerry didn't fumble. He held onto that ball, but you're right on the Albert O fumble. That was a killer that took the touchdown off the board for sure.
Yep.
They recalled that fumble from Jeudy. They reversed that decision.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so should have reversed the first one, but
reversed. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't know if you saw they were asking Coach Fangio after the game about what happened there, and literally all the refs on the sideline were like, "This is going to be your ball. We're just trying to figure out where to put it." And something happened. They called somebody else, and next thing you know, we have to put the defense out. And he was like, "You literally just told me." And it was like, "Yeah, somebody overruled everybody." So I don't know what it was there, but
yeah, I think the New York office, I think that's a new feature maybe this year that they've implemented, is that these reviews get kicked upstairs and it's taken out of the hands of the review crew on the scene a lot of the times now. And that's what happened in this instance. Somebody above the crew on the field made a different call and kind of got jobbed there. But it was the kind of thing where you could see that mistake in games past really being a part of a sequence of events that sinks the team. It was a close game at that point, but instead they go on a scoring drive right to end the half, and then another long scoring drive to start the half, the second half. It was, something we haven't seen out of this Broncos team in a long time. And I love this from Alex. This is a really good point from Alex, because kudos to Vic for going 3 for 3 on fourth downs, going for those fourth downs. That was a trend in the preseason, I think especially from Bridgewater, but we saw that, they went for it a lot on fourth down in preseason with usually pretty good results. And we kind of said, but that can't carry over into the season. You're going to have to get these third downs a little more. Well, maybe they won't.
The big fourth down, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Broncos, I think it was only like a couple hours ago, they released a interview with Alberto, right? And they were talking about like what happened on that 4th and 1 on the goal line that he ended up getting the touchdown. And I thought it was super funny the way that he got it. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. I think it's on all the Broncos social media. It's on their webpage. But he basically he's sitting there and he's talking about like, well, it was supposed to be a play action read to the slant to Cortland Sutton. There was a safety that came in unblocked. So he was the guy that, Teddy Bridgewater ended up stiff arming. So he ended up not being able to step into his throw. He said he turned around and saw Teddy Bridgewater like fighting for his life for his team, turned around and gave him an outlet. Right. And he was like, it was cool to see him escape it. And he was like, I just gave him an outlet just in case. And then after I got the ball, I saw how hard he worked and I wanted to get into that end zone for him because he caught the ball. If you guys remember, he caught the ball like 2 yards behind it was 4th and 1. He caught the ball 2 yards behind line of scrimmage and fought himself into the end zone. It was just really, really cool to see. Yeah. And just just the way that he was talking about Teddy Bridgewater and the way he was talking about the team and how like everyone wants to help each other. It's something that I don't think we felt in a few years. And it was really cool to see.
Well, and it fits a pattern that we've been hearing about Teddy Bridgewater just all summer, about how his teammates have responded to the little things that he does. And it's not necessarily just veteran things. There is a lot of that, but there's also things like when he comes into every huddle, he's got a little bit of something to say to, in every huddle, just to kind of fire the guys up. And, not only the offensive players, but defensive players have mentioned that as a reason why they have kind of coalesced around Teddy. It's just, I think he's definitely won over this locker room. And I think, Drew Lock, if we had been seeing Drew Lock at this point in the year, we would be seeing a guy who improved over last year. I don't know if he makes that particular play or not. I don't
think he does.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing where Alberto, went that extra mile for a quarterback because he knew the quarterback would go that extra mile for him. I don't know. I don't feel qualified to say whether Drew Lock could make that play for that specific reason, but it's nice to have, a quarterback that has the unqualified support of the team behind him.
Yeah. And David, basically what you're describing is leadership, I think. And not saying that Drew Lock doesn't have that or he can't develop that, but I think a lot of that does come with experience and the quality of a quarterback that Bridgewater, look, he's been that guy in the past, Yeah. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, Kevin, but it'd be interesting to, obviously we will never know, but to figure out what his career would have looked like had that injury never occurred to him. Because if this season keeps on this trajectory, he's going to be very sought after, and we're going to have to pay him big money to keep him around. Yeah. So obviously it's week 1. We're not going to get too excited up front, but we're going to get a little excited because we haven't felt this way after week 1 in a long time.
Real quick, let me address a question from Rob, because I think there's maybe a few people asking this after the news today that Ronald Darby went on IR. I don't think really anybody was tracking an injury to him, but we heard the very last drive of the game, he had a hamstring injury. So that's what's going on with him. He's going on the IR. He's eligible to come back in 3 weeks. It sounds like his injury will probably keep him out less time than Jerry Jeudy's injury will, which – good news, we'll probably get him back in that 3 to 4 week time frame for Darby. But we thought these two positions were the deepest on the team going into the season. We're about to find out.
Well, and this shows it too. I think it shows the faith that we have in the DB position to be able to take what seems like a minor hamstring injury, in which normal a starter, we try to get him back this upcoming week. We have the depth. We have Patrick Surtain out there who can come out and take his spot real quick and real easy. Let him rest up, let him be healthy, and let him come back full, as opposed to having a nagging hamstring injury the rest of the season. We can afford to lose him for 3 weeks and have him come back at full health. I kind of like the idea. Let's see how it turns out. It also gives more shots for Patrick Surtain to play true corner, as opposed to coming in just nickel dime packages.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. I didn't get my prediction in the pregame podcast of a pick for Surtain, but I will be shocked if he doesn't have one by the end of September.
Oh, for sure.
Easily. Okay, Robert says, who is our first real test? So, look, I mean, when it comes to NFL, every team is going to give you some difficulties, right? You got to be ready for them. You can't just sleep on them. But I think, going on the road, we saw what Jacksonville did, and kind of the mess that they are down there. So I'm not too worried about them. We'll talk about that. But then we get to come home, in two games at home against the Jets and then the Ravens. And if we saw last night, I mean, that'll be an interesting, pregame show to cover the Broncos versus Ravens games, because I don't know who's better, or if it's the Raiders are better, or that the Ravens are, just worse and made the Raiders look better. I don't know. But I'm personally thinking that the Ravens game is the first real test for us in the season. And
see, this is Alex is here making fire comments tonight. Appreciate you being here,
Yeah,
Alex.
this is awesome.
Yeah, I love this.
It's a good point.
This is a great point.
I think it's a good point too.
Yeah, everybody talks down the Giants and we beat the Giants. First of all, this team was 5-11 last year. Let's look no victories as gift horses that we could just take for granted. Second of all, the Giants defense is going to be a top 15 unit this year. I think they were tough. They played us tough. The offensive line did not look great for this game, and I think it's because the Giants have one of the better defensive fronts in the NFL.
I was going to say they have probably one of the top 5 interior defensive lines in the league.
Yeah.
Yep.
You saw it a couple times. Our interior defensive line struggled a little bit on times, but we still put up the points. We still drove the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think our running game showed real futility for a while there. Gordon run really skews the stats and make it all a little better. And everybody executed really well on that play. But it had been a grind for them before that. I don't think we should overlook the Giants defense. But until then, I think the next real full team test, because, a complete offense and a complete defense, that's going to be the Ravens.
Agreed.
And how many times did the camera go to Blake Martinez after the play to show how he was just messing us up all day?
The whole time.
But to the running game, it was rough. We had a rough start, but they stuck to it, right? We had a pretty even offense at the end of the day. How many times we ran the ball? How many times we threw the ball between Gordon, between Javonte Williams? And I think that big run, call it an outlier if you want, David, but I think that's just just showing, if you stick to it, if you grind it out and you get these defenses tired, we're going to have plays like that in the future as well. And we need to get Ray on here to see what the odds on Melvin Gordon having the fastest run, whatever you said earlier, Jared.
Fastest speed with the ball in all the NFL games.
I don't think anyone would have put money on that, and if they did, they would have won big.
Yeah, absolutely. He won me a certain fantasy game too. That was pretty clutch there. But
don't. And why?
Because
why would you bring it up? I'm still hurting over it. I had the third highest points in the. We're not talking about fantasy right now. The Giants' defense and the cornerbacks and the defensive backs also were bolstered. We talked about that last week too, right? Their defensive backs had really gotten a lot better in the past. And I wouldn't be surprised if this defense is one of the top. So, dang it, Robert. Look.
Robert. Yeah, Team Puffball came up big over Team Visor and Fantasy this week.
Aaron Rodgers got me 1.4 points. So I think John, there you can count up that win because
I wasn't going to bring it up, Kevin. I wasn't going to talk about our game, but the fact that I almost doubled your points with my number 1 wide receiver being Corey Davis on my bench.
On your bench. That's all right.
On the bench.
I had Deebo Samuel and Rob Gronkowski on the bench this week. It was it's going to be interesting to see who I have to start going forward. Yeah.
I'll say this too. If you listen to the Ragers podcast, we did not predict what ended up happening with the Gordon Williams situation in the game. I was really under the impression Gordon was going to be our 1-2 back. And that wasn't. They really played Williams the same way that in the past couple of years we've played with Lindsey and Gordon. It's kind of just put whoever in, whoever's healthy, and you can run literally anything in the playbook with either one of those guys. And that's exactly what they did. They had very similar touches. They had very similar looks the whole time.
Time out. We got a special guest appearance.
Oh no. Here it comes.
Ayla.
What's going on?
Ayla, you're just in time.
What is up?
Fuck.
How are you doing, Ayla?
Whatever Jared was saying was not nearly as important as Ayla's.
Ayla's here. It's Victory Tuesday, and we have to have Ayla here. Ayla, how are you?
You guys, I love you. I miss you. We won. My power went out in my neighborhood. I don't have anything good going on besides the Broncos winning, and I needed to bathe myself in y'all.
We are so happy to have you. I'm glad. I mean, at least you have cell phone service, so we got that going for us.
That's true. Yeah, could be worse. Even when in an age of no power.
Do I sound as shoddy to you as I do to me?
No, you sound fantastic. You look fantastic. Everybody's happy to see you. They were all tired of looking at us anyway, so.
This is true.
You're welcome.
Phrasing.
Let me close this one last.
I was waiting for it. I think we all have the same reaction.
Ayla, what's your thought process? It's Victory Tuesday. We're 1-0 against the New York Giants. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we're off to a good start. I'm thinking these boys are gelling together, which is exactly what we've wanted for years.
Uh-oh.
Keep in mind, everybody, Ayla's working with no power here. She's
in a third world country.
Right. It might as well be. It's not. It may not be great. Yeah, we may have lost her. She may be back. We'll see. We'll find out. Anyway.
Does anyone want to finish her sentence?
The Broncos are awesome.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I don't think any of us could finish the thought process there. I think here we go.
There we go.
All right, I'm gonna do it without Wi-Fi. Fuck Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi sucks. Anyways.
Ayla's on the 5G. Everybody look out.
Yeah, I'm on the AG. No. Anyways, our team is gelling better than they have in a very long time, in my opinion, and I'm pumped for it. You just see their camaraderie, you see their excitement in their eyes, and this is what we've needed for a very long time.
Well, Ayla, so let me ask you this, because this will tie in with Cheeto's question. Do you think that it's partly, it's all because of Teddy, or do you think that the play calling, the coaching staff is kind of getting their legs under them a little bit more as well?
Well, I think it's all of the above. I think coach is somebody that they respect, but I think that they're just all getting to do more together for a little bit longer. Yeah. We're finally getting the time under our belt that's needed. It's not like everybody's super, super duper green, or coming off an injury or anything like that. And I just think they have this team spirit. I have a little bit of cheerleader in my background. I don't know if y'all have ever been a cheerleader, but I have. I know, Kev, I thought that you would. So,
he was the base.
I think they have a little, it's a camaraderie, it's team spirit, it's the gelling together that makes you want to work harder for your quarterback, work harder for your team, make team dances. I mean, they were having so much fun on Sunday.
It was fun.
They were having so much fun.
Yeah, you can tell.
I think that's gonna, that carries you through a lot more than people even recognize, because when it comes down to it, we're playing a game, and you have to have fun.
But I think it's going to be
they're having fun.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a super important, and it shouldn't be an underrated aspect as we go forward, just because watching the other teams in the division this week, all of those games are going to be fights. Absolute knockdown, drag out slogs, and it's going to be ridiculously hard to win one of these games.
Because it was I'm sure you guys already said it, but the NFC West and the AFC West, both of them are undefeated. So we've got two sides of the division on each category of the quadrant. Those guys have all not lost a game at the start of this. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Against 6 playoff teams combined for the two divisions, which is
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
really
ridiculous.
You go back to Tampa Bay; they brought back everybody. So
yeah, Yeah.
Have fun with that one. I mean,
Yeah, really.
I don't know if you guys brought up the Raiders game already because my shoddy, third world country internet, but like.
Yeah, no, I mean a little bit.
Last night was nuts.
Yeah, and we talked about
there
it.
was some crazy. I don't know what we were watching. So first of all, and this isn't just a shout out, but if you didn't watch the Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, like ESPN Plus, like watch it was hilarious, and I loved every second of it. I thought it was awesome. But no, it was just like the end of that game. Even three professional quarterbacks, right? You have Eli, Peyton, and Russell Wilson. We're all watching this game, and like as the end of the game was happening, they're all standing there like, what is it? What is going on? Like the professional guys,
did I just watch?
And they're all like looking at each other like, what is happening?
Yeah. There was some, and maybe you can chalk it up to week one and just say we don't really know anything week one yet. But because you're right, there were some crazy finishes there, some extenuating circumstances. Although I will say, Kansas City, the Kansas City win to me is the most demoralizing because it's just like. They were losing that game the entire game. Yeah. And it's just, you have to do so much to beat Kansas City. You have to play so perfectly. And it just.
Well, that's where those fourth down plays come into discussion, right? Mm-hmm. Like we're going to have to do that. That's how aggressive you have to play. Really quickly, Robert, I'm going to say this. If the Broncos are undefeated
in September,
at the Halloween game on October 31st, I will wear a Broncos cheerleader outfit. Okay, so if the Broncos are still undefeated come that time, we can talk. So hold me to that.
I guess I'm going up to Denver for Halloween then, if that's the case.
Yeah, right.
I'd like to see it. At the same time, I don't want to see it.
Either way, you'll.
I'm in the surgery center, so like, bring on Kevin in a cheerleading outfit, like.
We'll take videos. We'll get the pictures out there for sure.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'll be the next best male Broncos cheerleader next to Robin Williams. So, some Broncos history there for you. Boom.
Absolutely. Little nugget.
Throwback a little bit. Mm-hmm. Before just because we talked about it a little bit, my favorite part, and only because we have a chance to talk about the Raiders and how much it's fun to root against them. My favorite part of that broadcast at the end of the game was them talking about on the half-yard line. All we know is they should definitely not do a hard count. What do they do in classic Raiders fashion? They do the hard count. They get the false start. It was the funniest moment of the game for me.
And then in classic Raiders, he throws the ball too hard to a guy that's 2 yards in front of him and hits the defender's helmet, bounces it off, and gets it like you can't make it up. Like you can't make that shit up.
I was so upset that the Raiders ended up winning that game. It would have been so great for the Ravens to go down and score and finish it off. And just, it would have been a classic Raiders downfall, which we all want to see.
Literally had the game won. Like everybody was on the field swapping jerseys already.
I'm pretty sure someone ran off with Lamar Jackson's jersey at one point.
No, it was like college status. Like everybody was on the field. The coaches were like, "It's over, it's over."
They were going to kick this ridiculous field goal, and then the only reason they throw that touchdown in the first place is because they got they couldn't do it. Oh my God.
The craziest thing is this is John Gruden making these decisions.
In spite of him.
He's supposed to be the guy. What the hell?
I go back to like, I'm pretty sure we all missed an entire year of football last year, and we all have like football amnesia, and like everybody's football stupid right now. Like that's it.
I think I've always kind of had this theory that John Gruden is just three children stacked on top of each other, and like sometimes that results in this genius, like incredible, like so outside the box that you win with it.
It's
but
just
then other times it's like, what?
It's just the classic cartoon of three kids stacked on top of each other in a trench coat. Is that what's going on there?
Absolutely. Everybody who's seen BoJack Horseman knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Little Rascals. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So anyway, if you're all loving the content of this show, please make sure you give us a follow. Hit that share button for us. We're here for you to talk about Broncos football and John Gruden being three kids stacked on top of each other.
Stacked on top of each other, yeah.
Jay Gruden is an adult. I think Jay Gruden is a person, but I think John Gruden is three small people.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Can we talk?
Yeah, never mind. I'm bring up weird girl references. Yeah, we'll just leave it Little Rascals.
Oh, boy.
Little Rascals.
Yeah.
Oh man. So let's bring up. Okay, so we talked about obviously the positives. I literally waited exactly 30 minutes to bring up negatives here, but we got to talk about it. We have to talk about. We have two people. We have two people going on my eyes.
Let's move on to the comment
Yeah,
from
we
Marcus.
do have negative stuff going on, which Jared Judy was like the most obvious negative.
Right. Losing Jerry Jeudy, losing Ronald Darby, those are two starters. But positive on that, Kendall Hinton gets called up from the practice squad today. So, we saw some flashes from him in preseason. I don't think he's going to see the field much, really. I think KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick, and Cortland Sutton are really going to get the majority of all the snaps. But, it sucks to see Jeudy go down. Glad it wasn't worse than 3 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, God. I mean, it looked like that ankle was gone. It looked like he was done.
I mean, and the legs are so skinny. He's got some chicken legs. That's not that.
Yeah. Well, and I think
it looks
KJ,
like he skips leg day. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, seriously.
He skipped ankle day.
It works for him. He can get open.
That's it. Yeah. I think we can still invest long term in Jerry Jeudy with some confidence. Let's put it that way. Negative for Hamler with the TD catch that he just dropped. It was a flat out concentration drop. He knows it better than we know it. And he had some good catches the rest of the game. You remember the throw across your body Mahomes throw from Bridgewater? Hamler's the one who caught that, and he had to kind of elevate for it.
He went up for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hamler with the concentration drop that I think 9.9 times out of 10 he makes that catch. And I think he'll have a chance to prove it again later this year. I think he'll get that opportunity again because he gets open. He gets behind defenses. It's really
speed.
Yeah.
I do like this. You guys know I'm a Spencer fan. Definitely Spencer with the jet sweeps. I think he gets a little bit more playtime at receiver. I think he's undervalued as receiver. I've said it all the time. Everybody thinks he's a special teams guy. I think he's undervalued as a receiver. I saw him do it in the CFL. I know it's not the same, but he can do it. He can do it as a receiver. Marcus
was our CFL expert.
Yeah, well, I lived up there for 3 years, and he played for the Red Blacks, where I was at the season tickets for. So, I watched him. I watched him through the CFL. That's kind of why I'm such a big fan. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm a huge fan of Spencer because when I got to Ottawa, he ended up coming up to Ottawa and played for the Red Blacks for all 3 years that I was there. When I moved out of Ottawa, he also moved out of Ottawa and ended up going and playing here for the Broncos, and that's why I'm a huge fan of his. I've been watching him for at least 5 or 6 years. So.
I was not expecting my comment to go to a rant, and I appreciate that, Jared. Thank you for explaining yourself, and I appreciate that you are a Jaguars Spencer fan.
We're wondering, yeah. So, all right. So, are we nervous that Surtain on Andrews week 4 because of Darby's out? That's a good question.
Nah, because I don't think of I think the coaching staff will see bigger threats on the Ravens offense than Mark Andrews, honestly. I know he's a good tight end in this league. I know he's a top 10 tight end in this league. But I wouldn't say that he gives them the same sort of matchup nightmare that Travis Kelce does or Darren Waller. I think they'll be able to mix and match coverages. If they have to play Callahan on the outside so that they can match up Surtain a little more, I think they're comfortable doing that. So it's something we'll have to track for sure. But that Ravens offense to me last night was, I'm much more concerned about a run game that can execute the way they do. The Giants cannot execute the way the Ravens do. They got nothing going against our defense, but that's to be expected. The Ravens are a completely different animal. Lamar Jackson is still an absolute weapon, whether he's throwing the ball or running the ball. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a huge test for the defense for sure, but I don't see Andrews and Surtain as the key matchup in that one.
Yeah. No, I think the answer to that question, I wouldn't say nervous. I think I'm more excited than anything because that's the true test, the first test, I'd say, from the tight end position that we're going to have. So that's going to give us a good feel for the rest of the season. Hey, if it's not working early on, Fangio's going to mix it up and get the right coverages in there, go to zone, whatever he needs to do. Because I know he might not be the big play threat for the Ravens, but he knows how to get open and he knows how to catch the ball. So,
red zone especially.
Yeah. So I think I'm excited to see what happens, especially early on in that game. But hey, we have 2 games before that. We don't want to overlook these first 2 games and worry just about the Ravens at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We can't. We have to worry about this week. We got to worry about what's going to go on, and use the momentum. So we think it can, potentially could be an easy win, and we got to use that to our ability. We got to just step up on that stool and take that win if it's going to happen, and go from there. And see what we have to utilize and make it happen this week.
Exactly.
And I did notice this, and I think I mentioned this in the halftime too. And before we get to Von Miller, I may have gone a little crazy on excited about Von Miller at halftime during the halftime hash, but yeah. So Surtain, he did get burnt. I don't think he got burnt, but there was a play. I think it was one of the touchdown plays he should have made the tackle. He should have made the tackle. He was there for it. He should have made it. But
he was
chalk it up to being a rookie.
Yeah. Yeah, he was playing a little too far off. Vic Fangio said as much to the reporters after the game in that particular play. He was just playing a little too far off. But that's a coach him up and he won't do that again problem. That's not a ability problem. That's not Pat Surtain can't play with starters problem. I think it's going to be we're going to see him start outside this week, and I think the Jaguars are going to be in for a very unpleasant surprise there.
I wouldn't be surprised if they throw to him early and test him. And I think that's where you're going to see, very likely an interception by PS2 there. Pick on the rookie,
He'll pick you right back, maybe. I mean, it's a possibility. He's the number 9 overall pick. Go ahead, pick on him, see what happens to you.
Yeah, and keep in mind,
I have a preseason bet that he's going to be defensive rookie of the year. So
there you go.
He did sell a lot of jerseys, so we'll
give
him that.
That too jersey that's clean.
It is fire for sure. But keep in mind that play too that he gave up. A majority of that play was him missing that tackle, which was not a problem for him in college. So it's hopefully it's a fluke play going forward. I don't think.
We give a lot of flexibility to rookie quarterbacks. There's welcome to the NFL, rookie one, and we can't, give him a little flex. I think we can.
I think we can.
Yeah.
And really, and it comes down to scheme, like Fangio said. Used to where he needs to be on what plays and what situations, and where he was supposed to line up, and if he would have made that play, and that's a different story. Or the linebacker makes that play is a different. 11 guys that on the field at any given time, and that's how it comes.
Jared, you're cutting out.
Yep, you're fading.
Speak up.
I thought it was my crappy connection.
No, Jared doing his best '80s pop impression.
Jared needs to use his outside voice.
Fading in.
Everyone thinks they're having a seizure at home. Use your outdoor voice, Jared.
Absolutely. So let's talk about it, guys. And we'll get the pregame podcast posted a little bit earlier this week. But as we transition, what did you see in the Giants game that makes you encouraged for the Jacksonville game?
For me, overall, I think it was the fact that we didn't need to rely on the defense. We gave our the defense did what they, what they're supposed to do and what they're advertised to do, and they're going to get better throughout the year, right? But it wasn't like in previous years where we were talking about, if we only had an average offense, then we could probably win these games. It was holy crap, the offense was moving the ball and eating up 8 minutes per drive, on several of those, and that was giving our defense plenty of time to rest and get out there. So the fact that we're talking about now maybe even a knock on wood, this week 1 going in week 2, I know, but you can see what this team can do when you have an above average offense, and then you couple it with that defense that we have. That's what's really encouraging. And so you see what these guys are going to do going out there, gelling, like Ayla was saying, really coming together, learning through those early season woes and mistakes, and get ready to come back home. I mean, if you're talking about being 2-0 and then coming home to Denver 3-0, or going, hearing the crowd noise in Mile High is going to be phenomenal. And then being there for the Ravens game too, the crowd is going to be electric. You're going to hear like a home field advantage we haven't heard since the Peyton Manning days. So there's a lot of good things that I'm looking forward here to. And I think it stems from just how even the team was and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they gave up so many points to the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans over under for wins this season was 5 to start the year. If I want to see 40 points from our offense in this game, like that's what I'm most excited to see. Defense is going to be good. We know they're going to be good. I want to see another big game, an even bigger game from our offense, and I think it's going to happen. I hope it's going to happen. Bridgewater's going to be more comfortable. He looked pretty damn comfortable on Sunday, even though he had a lot of plays that he was under pressure, and he just kind of was cool and calm and made the play happen. I think Jacksonville, I mean, if you guys want to correct me on the Jacksonville defense, I think they're a much less of a threat than the Giants were this week.
They have big names on paper. They just haven't been able to put it on stats. Right, Miles Jack sitting there. It's hard to say that they're not. The Giants' defensive interior defensive line is much better, but the linebacking core for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm a little bit more skeptical about the linebacking core for the Jaguars. These are probably about equal to the Giants.
Do you think so? I don't. I mean, who's playing for the Jaguars right now? Let's see. I mean, because the Giants started James Bradbury and Adoree Jackson at corner. Those are good players. I mean, I know the Jaguars have CJ Henderson, who is, not super happy to be there. But, yeah, other than that, like what's I don't know that there's really anybody in their secondary that makes you too nervous. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. You've got C.J. Henderson, Rayshon Jenkins. Rayshon Jenkins is talented, but their right corner is Shaquille Griffin, who didn't catch on and stick with the Seahawks. There are opportunities there, it seems to me. That secondary is ripe for a Noah Fant day, too.
How many? Okay, someone pull it up, because the Texans just put up how many points against the Jaguars?
Yeah. That's right. The Texans. The Texans.
John Watson. Like
37. The Texans hung 37 on the Jaguars.
Like we should.
And I think Lawrence threw two picks.
Three picks.
3 picks.
Touchdowns
yeah.
and 3 interceptions. Yeah.
And
against a Lovie Smith defense. Lovie Smith is coaching defense in the NFL again, and his defense just picked off Trevor Lawrence 3 times. I think Vic Fangio can cook up a little something.
I hope so. I think
he loves.
I think they're okay. Sorry, Jerry.
I remember last year. What was the stat? I don't know if it's still the same. Vic Fangio against rookie quarterbacks. Wasn't it like 30-0 or something? I don't know. I'm making up numbers, but
ridiculous.
It was a lot to a little. Like I remember that. This is why I'm not good at trivia, guys.
It was a lot to a little.
It was a lot to a little.
Boy, this is amazing. Just amazing show running right here.
No, but I think I'm excited to play against as many rookies as we can. I know Von Miller's excited to have that happen. I mean, let's kind of shift gears. Do we know what's happening with Sorry. I guess the liquor is catching up to us here. Bradley Chubb, is he back this week?
I don't know what you're talking about. No, they'll have it. They'll decide later.
Yeah, we haven't. I think that they shifted the schedule a little bit this year, so the Broncos' days off are now Tuesdays instead of Mondays. So they are off today. They'll be back at practice tomorrow, so we'll get a little bit more clarity on Bradley Chubb's situation. My guess is he's probably going to be another close to game time decision. Just sounding like where he was last week, he doesn't sound like he was that close to actually playing. So I would, again, it may be another situation where they saw how the defense performed last week they see the caliber of team they're coming up against and say, better to keep him out and make sure he's completely healthy for games like the Ravens and Steelers. But we'll see. They may decide, if he's good to go, then he should be playing. And if he is, then he should be. So, we'll get a little more clarity on that in the next couple of days.
No, we have plenty of talent there. As no reason to rush him back with the talent we have behind him with Malik Reed.
Yeah, Jonathan Cooper too. Yeah,
I don't know what that motion was, Kevin, but it seemed like you were trying to tell us something.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Erica's comment here.
100%.
Obviously, we have what it takes to beat the Jags.
To say I agree with Erica,
but Kev's best general manager impression of every team in this league is good, and we can't sleep on anybody rings true, and we can't sleep on them. But Team Broncos all day. I agree. I mean, look, it's the Jaguars. Rookie quarterback, Urban Meyer. The Houston Texans put a whooping up with Tyrod Taylor. I think we should be okay.
Mark Ingram.
Yeah, Mark Ingram too.
We should be okay.
Fantasy, anyone on fantasy out there, go look up Mark Ingram.
Oof. Yeah.
26 carries. Didn't see that coming.
No, and nor should you have. All right.
Who won at fantasy this week? Me.
Oh, that'd be me. Yeah.
Who lost at fantasy this week?
I'm okay. So is Aaron Rodgers
for the visors? I mean,
to lower his value just to get traded or what?
Visors,
like
football thing, but
no,
not looking good.
2 visors.
What is Aaron Rodgers doing?
And 2
For
big.
the record, I was third in scoring in the entire league. I just happened to be playing David, who scored the most in the entire league because of that one touchdown from. Melvin Gordon, thank you for the securing the game, but damn it.
Yeah, see, and that's the position I put you in on purpose, because if you say bad things about the score that sealed me the game, you have to bring down Melvin Gordon, one of your own team's best offensive players. Jared, how does that feel?
Way to do him dirty, David.
He's putting me on the spot right now.
I would do it again because you know what? Jared swept me last year. I think we played 3 times, and he just completely cleaned my clock every time. So much like the Broncos in September, I needed a hard reset, and I.
Well, I know my preseason pick for best fantasy player this year was Corey Davis, but Cortland Sutton got me.
I thought you were going to say your wife.
Well, okay, yeah,
wouldn't have been a bad call.
Well played, Dayla. Well played. Although you did win against her.
I said I whooped her this week.
Yeah. Cortland Sutton got me a solid 2.4 points. I think it's only going up from here. I still managed to beat Kevin by almost
because of Aaron Rodgers.
I never expect to go up from there. Like, come on. I'm the queen of disappointment, so just get ready for it. If you think that's the worst it could be, trust me, I've dated a lot of schlumpies. Schlumpy. You could schlump harder than 2.4, so trust me.
Yeah, but even if he's in the starting lineup, you have to expect more than 2 points from the guy in a point per reception league.
Yeah, expectations are the blueprints of disappointment. So.
Oh. Boy.
Okay. So Ayla's not a Cortland Sutton fan. We learned that today.
Wow. All right. Well, so that taking some shots, John. I don't know. It feels like she just dropped a wisdom bomb.
Are we playing each other or something this week? What's going on here?
I don't know. I'm really old, so you might as well learn something from me.
We bring up fantasy, and Ayla just goes off. She's in game mode. She's ready to go. She's ready to put on pads and just take us all out.
She's competitive.
Got 1 win under her belt, and she thinks she won the league.
I got him on 3 areas: my shoulder to my crotch. I'm going.
That's where we're at in the show.
McDonald joke, R.I.P.
It is. It is R.I.P. Norm Macdonald.
I'm gonna bring him.
Yeah,
love it. Yeah.
About that.
And just to be clear, everybody, my pick was not Corey Davis. That was an accidental pick that I was not excited about, and he ended up, of course, to be my number 1 wide receiver on my bench.
I enjoyed it.
I had to trade off it for a Big Mac. I almost took it because, just value-wise, numbers-wise, money-wise, that's almost half of what the cost of entry for this league is. I'm sorry, Kevin. I know you don't want to talk about fantasy. I know it was a rough week.
I just can't wait to play you again so I can show you what happens when Aaron Rodgers shows up.
Ooh. What, is he going to score 100 points? Because that's what you needed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Even a 50-point performance from Aaron Rodgers would not have.
Well,
won
the whole
game.
I have 3 Green Bay players.
I'm sorry.
So the fact that they only scored 3 points and did nothing, if the Green Bay themselves showed up, I would have demolished you. Okay.
It's you take a risk by just putting a bunch of eggs into a one offense basket. You know.
You hate to see it.
Oh man, I'd love this is definitely Orange Weekly after show style banter, and I love it.
Play into that, Jared.
We're getting there.
We're getting ready. We're pre.
This is the no BS. Yeah, I'm just you know what I love about this. Just really though, this is in a long time, and probably a couple of years that we've been so excited for our Broncos, and we could just bullshit around and have a good time because just like the Broncos, like Ayla, you were saying, they're gelling. I'm so excited about this season. I really think this season's going to go well. Seeing what we saw, if we can keep that up, if we can keep a 99.4, I think he was quarterback rating for Teddy Bridgewater going through the season, there's not many teams in this league that can beat us, and I am so excited about that.
I think it was an 89.4.
Because we've already said it too, and we have the defense. I mean, that will go on. That's going to prove itself. It did it in preseason. I mean, they barely should have had two touchdowns. I mean, that was bullshit at the end of the game.
It didn't matter.
But that was just like, there you go, buddy. Like, you're welcome.
And we almost got an interception the play before.
Exactly. So it's just like, that it didn't even fucking matter. But if we just keep going like that and have offense, get out of here. It's gonna be so fun. This is gonna be a great year, and it's off to a good start. And we get to watch it. We get to have a good year. I have like football amnesia from last year. Like I know we did it, but like I kind of it's like my 20s. Like I'm a little bit blacked out from it.
That's
That's fair. Yeah. Well, 5'11",
I'm excited to remember this year and make it something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how many times have we come out of an off season and into week 1 with all this optimism, right? All this, all these reasons why this year is going to be the year. This year is going to be different. Well, we've got this player now, and then we fall flat on our face in week 1, and it's like, all right, now we're already.
Hard. I mean, it's been hard the last couple of years because we're like, oh, we have Chubb. Now we have Miller. Now we don't have Chubb. Now we don't have Miller again, and we don't have a quarterback. And we believe in Locke, but he's kind of there and he's not there. And I'm sure it's been rung around the tree a little bit, but I didn't hate picking up Teddy Bridgewater. I liked him in Minnesota. I don't think I've ever gotten to say that because I haven't been doing that much of our shows this year, but I didn't hate it, and I don't hate it now. I always thought he has a skill set, and let's just watch him. Let's watch him evolve.
Yep.
Yeah. If he throws for 275 and 2 touchdowns every week, what's to hate?
Talks about that leadership, the pieces that you can't.
And the point of being
95.7. I just saw that too. Yeah.
95.
And just bouncing out of it and I got this. Boop, and down to some other,
with the stiff arm. The stiff arm.
Just seeing.
And he looked comfortable. Yeah. He wasn't phased at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see him? Yeah. Now I'm glad they fixed his helmet because I was a little tired of watching his helmet come off every time he got
off.
That was a drill guy,
right?
A drill guy, yeah.
But did you see every time
a drill guy in this podcast?
Right.
But or we give Joe God 20 minutes of the podcast so that we make sure that he gets his due diligence.
Amen.
Oh, it's 53 minutes. I'm shocked I can't believe it took this long.
We were all tracking the drill guy. It was so on everyone's radar.
He's gonna be clutch for us this season.
Yeah, I didn't think it needed to be said. But now now that we are saying it, every time that it came off, I saw him just grin his biggest grin towards the sideline, and his teammates loved that. They were just grooving on it, and he's going to go to the mat for us. His helmet keeps popping off, but he's still going to try and get that extra yard for us. It really is, something that's going to carry them a long way this year.
Yeah, they seem like gel's my word right now. I'm gonna use it. The word of the day if we were Sesame Street, like gel. We're gelling together. These guys are feeling each other. They love each other. That's what teammates are about. That's what sports camaraderie is about. That's what we thought that and what we've always wanted to have. And I truly, truly feel it this year. I do, and I probably say that all the time because I'm like a Broncos-aholic. But dude, these guys are on it.
Gelling.
Yep.
And we haven't talked about it yet. Von Miller. Is Play coming back
the real
from...
guy made an appearance before Von Miller?
Yeah, that's true.
He birthed a baby.
We need to hang up the hat. This is it. We can't do it anymore.
Take it off. Take it off.
Birthed a child this year, dude. He got a superhuman power. Jared, you know what he's talking about.
I get it. That's super dad powers. He was out there, and not just the sacks, not just the tackles, but the fact that he was in the position, he was taking double teams and forcing people to the inside. There was a run to the outside that probably could have broke for 15. And he took a double team on the outside, forced the guy back inside to the rest of the team, and it was like a 2-yard gain. It was watching him, he has not missed a step. He is 32 years old, and most of us are too. But he's 32 years old, and he is out there just making plays with these young guys and just making it look easy. He has not missed a step, and I love that he's back.
Yeah.
I mean, if Tom Brady can play till he's 100, Von's like, in his diapers playing right now. He's good. So like,
yeah.
And he's got his child to play for now, which gives you this. I can say it as a woman. It gives you this different thing in life. He's super excited, you guys. We've got a whole new Von this year.
He's excited. And I mean, he was excited last year. Let's not forget this. He was saying last year, look, I'm going to be back. I'm going to be the old Von Miller, and you're going to see some good things.
Saying it and feeling it is a different thing. Because, of course, he would always feel it because he's a superstar.
Well,
so of course he's going to say it. But now he has, it's a different thing. You can attest to it. It's dad's superpower. It's a fucking thing.
No knock to you, Ayla, about the whole child thing. I get that. I understand that. But he also didn't play a snap last year. That was probably the biggest reason we didn't see it from him last year.
Talk to the sperm donors of those babies. It's not the moms. It's a dad thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. No, I'm not yet. But I'm just saying he was excited last year, and I think him being out all last year as well only gave him more fire to give him more rage and he wants to show that he is still Von Miller.
It's okay to say that it pissed him off.
Thank you. I knew you did that to me. Thank you, Ayla. I appreciate it. But I think I can only hope that this is just he's going to be better and better as the season goes on.
I know, and let's just for the Broncos' sake, healthy, happy Broncos is what we can all hope for. Is healthy and happy. It's what has to happen, and we will succeed as long as we have that.
Yes,
it was scary seeing Judy go down. Finding out about Darby was rough, but you know what? So far, we're off.
I mean, with the Darby, to me, it was a surprise. To you guys as well.
Yeah.
No,
everyone.
Because I thought he played at the end of the game. I didn't see him go out. I mean,
it was the very last series of the game. So it was kind of easy to just overlook it in that moment. Maybe it made
the last tackle of the game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and
I was probably a little ham by then.
And it may be possible that nobody, if he was into the last play of the game, then it may be possible the coaching staff didn't realize it until everybody was in the locker room, and he didn't get checked until that point. So it may have literally happened on the last play or the last couple of plays of the game, and it just didn't get anybody's attention.
Wow. Luckily, we have a lot of depth, and we can rest
those are the two positions we can kind of afford, and thank God they're kind of best case scenarios with both those guys.
Yeah,
where they're both should be back. Fingers crossed for both of them this season. And
Evan's gonna rest his hamstring for the next couple of weeks too. So him and Darby will be hamstring brother.
Who's that, Ayla? I missed that.
Kevin.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go, Kevin. You're gonna do some rehab with Darby.
If you're doing rehab with Darby, can you please send a picture? Because I'd love to see the side by side of what that looks like.
Using the same roller, or are you guys going to use separate rollers?
Now, I will say, you taking a photo with a telephoto lens of Darby, a mile away, and you in the foreground, that's not you rehabbing together. That's just that's actually closer to stalking than anything else.
That is important.
Wait, okay, so how close do I need to be then?
If he's in his living room and you can tell you photoshopped yourself, it's too creepy, Kev.
Right. It's not so much a distance thing as a consent
Like with
issue.
a roller,
so if you
my
can't
handy
tell I
feels better
photoshopped
before.
myself, then it's not creepy.
I guess the way
It's gonna be creepy regardless.
The way to measure this is if Darby knows that you're rehabbing together, that means that you're rehabbing together. Otherwise, not.
For the record, even if this was a real photo of him and Darby rehabbing together, we'd all still think it was creepy. Like we would all still be like, nah.
No, not buying
Unless
it.
he's doing it in his Broncos cheerleading outfit.
Right.
Then that might
Only if we're undefeated by the Halloween game.
In
Oh
September.
my god, I'm doing.
Oh,
I
I
will buy
forgot
you
the
a cheerleading
stipulation.
costume if that happens.
I will, but I don't know. We got a long way before October 31st, so.
Is that the new thing? We're gonna see you in an Ayla Broncos cheerleading costume.
No, I was gonna recreate Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Look
I'll make
from
it
the
happen. I'll
day.
sew it. I've got to sew it.
Oh, Ayla's going to make it for
But
you.
if Ayla's gonna make it for me, okay. Don't get started on it quite yet. We have some games to play before the week of Halloween.
Don't tell me
so.
what to do.
Don't
If
you
we
tell
come,
her how to live her
come on the
life.
Tuesday, if we come on the Bourbon Broncos No BS show the week before the Ravens and you're rooting for the Ravens, I'm going to be so mad.
I'm not gonna root for the Ravens. Why would I do that?
Also, are you really going to tell me that if Ayla goes to all the trouble of
Yeah.
making this for you,
Thank you, David.
you're not going to wear it?
Yeah.
You're just going to say no.
Rude.
That's mean.
Oh, plus
That's just
plus
rude.
I'm going to be in town for the Ravens game, so you might have to wear it in public.
While you're here, you can get some measurements for in case.
That's it. Ayla, that seems like a great.
measure. I'll bring my tape measure.
Okay.
Get
No,
back
I
up
think it
and
needs to be ready by then.
Yeah.
I think.
How about we just make the bet now that if we're undefeated into the Ravens game, you have to wear it
No,
the week of the Ravens game, which is there.
My bet was the Halloween by the week of Halloween, so that'd be my Halloween outfit.
I don't think we need a bet at all. I think we just need to keep getting on Kevin so that he just takes a picture and
He just
And
does
since
it.
when did you all getting on me force me into anything?
All right. Well, so here's Ayla. Your backup plan is you're going to have to get my measurements in case Kevin welches because I'll do it. And I will not.
Thank you, David.
Basically,
David's a
I'll
team
keep
player.
Kevin's measurements in half for yours. So
There you go. Okay, yeah, just double it. Just double it. That's a good call. Yeah.
Wait, now
David-
you're saying I'm not a team player? Hold on.
Let's just say you're playing for the wrong team.
Oh no.
Whoa. That's not what was discussed. That was
what I'm
smoke.
discussing.
I was
Well,
on your
okay.
side earlier.
That's
Can we
great.
just okay? All right,
wanna
we've
go back to
gone
the fantasy?
off the walls.
We're so off
We've gone
track
off the
now.
walls.
Everybody's worried about men's costumes.
Right. I wore a cheerleading outfit a week ago, so we're good. So let's go around. Let's go around the room. Let's finish up this show. Let's go around the room. How we feel about the Broncos right now, what we expect for next week against Jacksonville, and what our overall thoughts are. Let's start with you, David.
First, I'm going to give Christopher a shout out. Thank you, Christopher, for being on Team Puffball with myself and Rob. Good choice. Second of all, I didn't hear any of the questions that you actually asked because I was getting ready to give Christopher a shout out. But I think the gist of it was what was good about last week and what's going to be good coming up. I'm really excited to see what the offense does against a lesser defense. Honestly, I'm really excited to see what on paper should be a lesser defense. And now this is the legendary Broncos in the early time zone in a hot climate in September. This is not the type of game that they usually succeed in or play up to their best potential. But again, I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do against a Jacksonville defense that, as John, I'm sure will reiterate again, gave up 37 to the Texans. Let's see. Yeah, I expect to see a little more traction from the run game too, especially. That's what I'm going to be keeping my eyes on. Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, can they generate a little bit more yards per carry? I think they can, and I think it's going to help the entire offense.
Yeah, agreed. Let's watch
I
that
would let
happen.
David go first, so none of us have to say anything.
That's right. I'm going to cover all of it.
I didn't know what the order was. If we're going counterclockwise, clockwise.
Oh, where I was gonna go. Let's go. We'll end with Ayla because we're happy that she's on and she gets the final words for the show. So, John, you're next.
That sounds perfect. Yes, everything David just said. We should be putting up points against the Jaguars. We put up points against the Giants, which underrated defense. Jaguars might be the first overall pick this year after what we saw this last weekend. Now, it's the NFL, so things change on a week-to-week basis. But not worried about the injuries because we have the guys to back them up in those positions. Let's hope that we don't have any more serious injuries, right? Like, we don't want to see that. And let's get the running game going, like David said. But I just want to see that passing game. Honestly, that was good to see. Let's get Cortland Sutton going. Only for my fantasy team. Just kidding. Love Cortland Sutton. Let's see him get going, get him a touchdown pass in there, and let's go from there.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, look, Teddy Bridgewater, 95.7.
Yeah.
EFF top of the, and it's gonna get better. And look, that was not a scrub defense, and we have to stop looking at the New York Giants as they're the New York Giants. I do expect this New York Giants team to take off in the second half of the season.
At least on defense.
At least on defense, right? Yeah, you're right. At least on defense, right? And we'll see with the quarterback situation.
But they have a solid defense.
Saquon Barkley back. They might actually be, they might actually have a better team, and we may have taken advantage of it.
Don't worry about it because we're done with it. Like, over, down, beat them.
Right. And the other thing too, we're looking at the Ravens. Erica mentioned that we lost Dobbins. Chris, they lost Gus Edwards as well. Look, we have an opportunity to go 4-0 again this season. I really do think I in my heart of hearts I think that the offense is using word of the day, gelling. I think that our team is gelled.
Process. If you're going to use a word of the day to be able to know how to use that word.
Yeah,
gel. They're gelling.
Well.
What? How is that not right?
You're right.
Right. You got to use it with confidence.
Oh, okay. So what I'm liking about our team is we're gelling.
Better.
Thank you. We're gelling, and the offense and defense, but on both sides of the ball, I think it's just working out really well. We're really finding that momentum. I love to see it, and I think that the next couple games is going to really, really show that, especially with the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's no way if we lose the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm going to be so mad. It is going to be a very tough Bourbon Broncos with no BS on that Tuesday because I'm going to be so mad if we lose to Jacksonville Jaguars. I think we got this. We're going to go 2-0. I'll see you guys next week. Kev, what you got?
Let's look for the defense to keep improving as well. PS2 is going to be out there a whole lot more. See what he can do. Look for a pick, hopefully at least a pick 6 from the defense, and kind of shut down the Jacksonville offense that way as well, and just make Urban Meyer look even more dumb than a lot of the reports coming out of Jacksonville are already doing. So I want to see that happen. Just, it's a road game. It's an early game, so let's just be careful. But yeah, I think if we lose, it's all because of ourselves. We have no one to blame other than ourselves, and I think we have every reason to win this game. So I like that. Just keep on gelling.
Better, David.
A lot of confidence being thrown around in here right now.
I like the confidence.
I'm glad I could bring the gelling into the conversation for today's
Yes.
podcast because
Wonderful.
to me, like every team sport, we always won our championships when we gelled the hardest, and I just feel like back for the Super Bowl 50, that team was gelling really hard, and I feel like these boys, they got it too. And here we go, and it's the start of it. And so if we lose, the second game of the year. It's all Kevin's fault because he doesn't want to wear the cheerleader outfit, and we can all blame Kevin if we don't lose the Jacksonville game coming up.
I think we can all agree on that.
Absolutely. Agreed.
I think we're all on. And cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
No, but seriously, like I think we have a lot to look forward to. Watching Teddy ball with our offense on actual playing games. You know, he was chosen for a reason. And these guys, they absolutely see him face to face. It was unfortunate about Jerry Jeudy, but we've got to press on because that's just what, you know, football is about. And luckily, we've built depth behind him, and we're going to be able to make it happen. I've always believed in Noah Fant coming in to play very hardcore, and I want to watch that guy just like do some nasty things for us. And then also our defense, I think we're bound to show up and have some seriously destructive, you know, pick six and defensive points come up on the board where it's like, you know, we don't even need our offense pretty much is what it will come down to, but we'll still have our offense. And that's what I'm looking forward to see. And so I'm looking forward to this as like an extended preseason game against the Jaguars, an expected win for me. You know, I'm always willing to put on a cheerleader outfit because this is what I do. But if we lose this game,
because it's for the gram.
If anybody wants to put up really something fun, like if we lose this game, Ayla has to wear something crazy. I mean, I'm kind of down for that too. But I'm expecting
there's a challenge.
No matter what. So.
Well, I think we need to start branding our own line of hair gel. The Orange Weekly hair gel brings you together.
That's a weird way to take that.
Just make sure your hair is a little, you know, the orange gel.
Orange gel.
This is, by the way, everybody, this is only going to filter into the after show that we're about to do here.
The after show here is about to be
end
fire.
on like one great prediction I have that just came to my mind. Don't be surprised. Yes.
I will be.
Don't be surprised if next Monday, Tuesday, we're hearing on ESPN, are the Jaguars that bad or are the Broncos that good? Because I think it's going to be a slaughter. And after this Texans game against them, I only feel more confident about that.
Yeah, very Daniel says 38-3. I can see it. I mean, I want to see it, obviously, with the orange and blue goggles. But all right. So first of all, thank you guys so much. Ayla looked like she had to dip out on us, or her power shut off again, whatever the case is. But hey, look, thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're following our page. Make sure you're subscribing to the podcast. Also, for the record, and it took me over an hour to mention this, Rangers went 4-0 this week, and easily 4-0 this week. And I made quite a bit of money. So if you guys aren't following the Rangers podcast, go follow the Rangers podcast. The reason we know so much and the reason we take these bets is because we follow and we know the Broncos. We know exactly what the matchups are, and we take the matchups that we like the best against. Please make sure you guys go follow that. Again, we're super excited to be part of the Pigskin Podcast Network, and we're here for that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. And else have any final words before we sign it off?
Nope. Other than a very strong
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Take care, everyone.